A lot of
Christian
Christians
Zionists.
are Zionists.
Yeah, we know this.
They've adopted Zionism
Since October the 7th,
even
this has
superior,
been-
even
they are being
superior
challenged,
to their
like
Bible.
Since October the 7th,
You know,
they are being challenged.
But
like
Islam
never
has
seen
stood
them.
strong.
Yeah, I know.
Islam has said no.
You are absolutely right. You have protected your families. We have allowed the LGBT agenda to break our families up. So for that, you get. I'll give you 10 out of 10. Well, look, I'm a working class person.
That's why it's called the Commonwealth.
See, you're talking to the wrong person, right?
No.
We lived in slums in Glasgow, in Liverpool,
I understand
in
what you're
London,
saying, James.
right? We didn't benefit from the British Empire. We were told we had to fight and die for the British Empire.
I understand,
right?
James. This is not about you. You were used as well. James, this is not about you and me.
What are you doing? You're beating me down,
No,
right? No, you are.
no.
Because this is not me. This is not me.
I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you. You're a nice guy. Immigration has always been a problem everywhere. Now, my family come from India. You know that when the English went to India, what they did to
When
India.
the East India Company went.
Well,
The criminals.
if you look at the
Criminals, what they
recent
did.
podcast on, I think it's Navara Media, they talk about money laundering.
Yeah, the East India Company.
Hold on a second.
No, that's Dutch.
And the author
not English.
of the book very
That's the Dutchies.
succinctly explained that what governments often did to distance themselves from the moral implications of colonialism, they allowed a company like the East India
Divide and rule.
Company that actually represented the aristocracy, right? And
Arthur Wellesley and his brother.
right, but what they did is any wrongdoing, they could distance themselves and say, oh, it was the East India Company that did it. Now, when the British went to India, India had 21% of the world economy.
23.
I know, it ended up with next to nothing.
Ended up with 3.
23%.
It's ended up with 3, right? Now, we went there, we destroyed a nation, we destroyed its economy. Then we had
Like in Iraq.
Then we had the Second World War.
Like in Iraq.
Okay.
Don't stand behind this gentleman.
Then we had the Second World
Go
War,
round, yeah, go on.
and then the British went to
So wait,
India.
can I just correct you there? The Zionist British Empire.
Well, okay,
You're right.
we can talk about that if you want to, right?
It's
Then the British came to India.
Angus, here. Here, get there, let you through.
The British came to India, right?
Come closer, come closer.
Oh, Lieutenant
And they
Stevens.
said, to Indians, including my own uncle, who remembers the High Commission of India coming to the towns, and they basically would say, "Come to England, help us to rebuild the country, and you will have a place to stay. Your children will have a place to be schooled. You will have passports. You will be able to live here."
So what's your point?
So my people came, and they helped, and they built the country.
The country was already built, but that's another
well, when my father came here in 1956, there were still buildings that were still not rebuilt from the Second World War.
Windrush.
There was a lot of work to happen, right? So a lot of Afro-Caribbean people came first, in
So
fact. Right?
the Windrush boat was actually
Let me
a
just
German
finish.
boat originally.
Let me just finish my point.
No, and it was
to help build the
Jewish
country.
Zionist
So the
people took control of
Afro-Caribbean-
that boat.
After World War II,
Yeah, yeah.
you'll know
Yes.
it wasn't just British.
Yes.
Don't lie.
I'm not lying.
No, he's
I'm
a
not
nice guy. He's a
Okay,
very nice
cool.
guy.
I'm not lying. I'm
Very
just
fine.
saying
He's
is
a very nice
that
guy.
there were Zionist
I heard
guys
a buck.
in charge of the
James,
Windrush.
James, James.
No
So the Afro-Caribbean community came by shiploads because they were encouraged, and we needed people to work in London transport. We needed people to work into industries where the British did not want to work. And
No,
we
that's not true.
No, because they couldn't.
No, they could.
No,
but they didn't want to pay the money.
No, they couldn't. No, it wasn't
They didn't
that.
want to pay
It
the
wasn't
money.
that.
This was
We were
working
on a
class.
mass building process. We were building homes, thousands of them.
They wanted it done on the cheap.
Yes, and we
They
needed
wanted
it quick.
done on the cheap.
So
we have union rights in
No,
this
listen
country.
to what I'm saying.
We invented the unions, right? And we have a minimum wage
And a
for
lot
unions.
of the Afro-Caribbean.
So this is about undermining.
No. But a lot of the Afro-Caribbean people that came, they joined the unions.
Yeah.
Yes. So the point I'm trying to make to you now is this. I was born 55 years ago. I know I look 30, but I'm not. I'm 55, right?
Hey.
Now,
I'm not saying nothing.
okay. So now, my father came in 56. My kids are now 30. I could be a granddad. Now, if people say to me, I'm not happy Muslims are here, I'm not happy that Asians are here, what am I supposed to do with that? This is my home. You invited me. My father was invited here. He had kids. I've had kids. They'll have kids. What are we supposed to do?
The Zionist British establishment.
No, but what I'm
invited
trying
you.
to say to you is, so when people say I'm not comfortable with immigration, then what I would say is, don't go into other people's lands and destroy their lands and then invite them into your own country.
Right.
Okay, and then complain that there's
Exactly.
too many of them here.
Right, so
Fantastic
who's
point.
doing the
Fantastic
who's doing the invasion? Who's leading the invasion? The same people that are doing the inviting afterwards, right?
Right.
Exactly what Tony Blair and George Herbert Walker Bush did. They went out on a false premise that
Then don't
Osama
vote for
bin
them.
Laden done the Twin Towers.
Well, then
He
don't-
didn't.
don't vote for
Mossad
them.
and CIA
Don't
done the
vote for
Twin
them
Towers.
then. Don't
vote
vote for
You
them.
have no choice.
No, let him land, let him land.
First
let
of
him
all,
land.
right, it's a secret. No one knows who's in charge.
He's trashing.
It's a secret. It's a secret. Nobody knows that Kate Middleton's mother's maiden name, who's married to the Prince of Wales. No one's come back to me and Googled it up yet.
Okay.
Who's going to Google up Kate
Well, we
Middleton's?
don't doubt what you're saying.
Good.
Kate Middleton's mother's name.
Okay,
Right?
mother's-
These people have secretly
No, no,
hijacked this country.
But James, I'm
Right?
talking about people
Yeah, but
not
so
happy
that-
with immigration. What
We're
I'm trying
supposed to live
what
in a
I'm-
democracy.
what I'm
There
trying-
is no
I understand, but what I'm
democracy.
trying to explain to you is
And that's why I
what I'm
realise
trying to explain to
that
you is
something that's been done
that we need to
might not be able to be undone.
You know the other thing is this, James. You know the other thing is this.
Carol, is it not this one?
These
Yeah, no, her mother's maiden name. Kate Middleton's mother's maiden name.
James. Another thing we need to realise is this: the National Health Service, all these
The National Murdering Service.
all these beautiful buildings in London, in England, all the lovely roads, the motorways, the public
I haven't got
transport,
my glasses, sorry.
the
Catherine Elizabeth Middleton. I don't know.
Her maiden name.
Yeah, that's
That's
what
her
I mean.
husband's name. You've got to find her maiden name before
I
she's
don't know, I
married.
can't see it here.
It'll tell you if you look
James,
hard enough.
where did we get all the money for all of this?
We got it from illegal taxation, right? Because when Rothschild took over the Bank of England in 1815, he introduced income tax
Have another guess.
to the British people.
Have another guess.
Oh, what you're saying? We got it from the empire. Well, look, I'm a working class person.
That's why
right?
it's called the
You can-
Commonwealth.
look, see, you're talking to the wrong person, right?
No, well,
we
what-
lived in
James,
slums in Glasgow,
James,
in Liverpool,
I understand
in
what you're
London,
saying, James.
right? We didn't benefit from the
James,
British
James,
Empire.
James,
we were
James.
told we had to fight and die for the British
I
Empire.
understand,
right?
James. I'm not- this is not about
this
you
is-
and me.
You were used as well. We
James,
understand.
this is not about you and me.
What you're doing, you're beating me down,
No,
right? You are.
no.
Because
No,
this is
no,
not
no.
me. This is not
it's
me.
not about
I'm not
you.
talking about you.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about you. You're a nice guy.
Yeah, but
You're a nice guy and you're open-minded
Right, I'm
and you're being
open-minded.
quite honest. You're being quite truthful. I've got nothing.
Yeah, but what you're saying
I could
is
sit
it's got
down.
nothing
I
to
could
do
sit
with
down
me.
with
But he's
you.
talking about colonial
Yeah,
entity.
No,
but it's
but
not-
James,
Yeah,
I
but
could
it is.
sit
He's
down
asking-
with you.
I'm going along with what's happening. but
James,
I'm not going to be.
I could
down
sit down
over-
with you and have an alcohol-free beer. I could sit down with you and have an alcohol-free beer. It's not a problem. Would that be all right with you?
No.
He'd want alcohol in it.
Well, I don't drink that.
No.
Okay.
What I'm
I don't
trying to
think-
say to you is, this is not about me and you.
Yeah.
I'm saying to understand immigration, we need to understand the things that facilitated it,
yeah.
and we need to think about how we as a country have dramatically benefited.
Well, it's the Kalergi plan.
So
It's the Kalergi plan.
therefore, to now say to the foreigner, Johnny Foreigner, I don't want you here.
Yeah.
It's not
Come on.
fair.
All right. You spoke for quite
That's
a
what I'm
while
saying.
now. You spoke for quite a while.
always said this.
What's really
Always.
happened here, right? If you've got a load of red ants and a load of black ants in a jar, they seem to get on all right until someone comes along and shakes it, and then they tend to fight each other. And this is what we saw when Suella Braverman done her thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? This is white people to rise up against
agree.
Islam, right? And I'm against that. But then also, we saw after the lockdown with the George Floyd death, they incited, not just in this country, it started off in America, it spread here, they shook the jar and got black people to rise up against white people. So what they're doing, they've made, this is all part of the Frankfurt School, right? They tried to get the white proletariat to rise up against the bourgeoisie. And throughout the whole English-speaking world, we didn't want to rise up against the bourgeoisie. We liked our countries. We had massive freedoms. We actually, our king, he has no power. He has no power. We, the people, if you look at the Bill of Rights, 1688, we have the right to bear arms, right? That's why America has got the Second Amendment. They wanted to be English.
Is that what this is?
Not quite, right? And we have freedom of speech and things like this, right? Now, the point of it all is that we've gone in a situation now where they wanted to break all that. They tried to create a communist takeover through Zionism, that created communism, of the world so they could bring us all down to tyranny.
Yeah.
Muslims, Africans, Indians, Europeans, but the Europeans that controlled most of the world, the British Empire and the Americans, right? We were the real powerhouse in the world. The normal people wouldn't go along with it. So they actually hate me. They hate us so much. So they said that what we're going to do, they realised they had to get out of Frankfurt in the 1930s and they went to New York. As soon as they got into New York, the penny dropped. What is the penny drop? What is it? When you leave Frankfurt and you go to you see the massive divide in race. It's not class. It's not the working classes rising up against the bourgeoisie. It's race. You could see it in New York in the 1930s. They went, oh my God, when the war's over, we're going to go back to Europe and we're going to change everything, right? I said, what do you mean? He said, well, it's going to. He said, well, how are you going to do that? There's no black or brown people in Europe. Oh, there will be. So what they've had to do. Now, when you see the Muslims come over here,
I
they've got a thing called.
I don't think it was that well thought out.
What? Don't you heard of the clergy plan?
No, but I don't think
You haven't heard of the clergy plan? Have you heard of the clergy plan?
You know what happens when the...
So but they shake the jar, right? They shake the jar. We've seen it with Black Lives Matter. They've raised black people up in the Western world to go against white people. Now they shook the jar again.
Where have you moved, by the way, where have you moved to?
Beaconsfield.
Beaconsfield.
99% white.
Yeah, so
Because I feel safer there.
I'm going to find you on Facebook and move next
I'm
to
on
you.
Facebook.
I'm
surrounded by Zionists.
I'm going to move next door to
There's
you.
Zionists everywhere in Beaconsfield.
That's all right.
It's the most
You
Zionist,
and me-
but it's
you and
probably
me
going to
can
be
go
the most safest
You
place.
and me
It's
can
full
go
of
down the
Zionists.
mosque together.
But there's no mosques in Beaconsfield.
Oh, we'll open
There's no
one.
synagogues
We'll
there,
open
either.
one, don't worry.
But all the church, you can't go to church in England because Justin Welby, you know what his dad's real name was, don't you? 'Cause I keep putting hints out to no one.
Anyway,
He's-
James,
he's
on
an
a more
Ashkenazi Jew.
important note, are you religious?
Yeah, I'm a Christian. I've got Christian values, but it's different. As I said, you can't.
What do you know about Islam?
Well, not a lot, but I know that it's all part of the Abrahamic religion, right? And it's the belief in one God,
Yes.
like Judaism is, which Zionism isn't.
So
right?
are you a Trinitarian or do you believe
Church of
Jesus?
England is Church of England, but I can't be Church of England because it's been so corrupted.
But what's your view about Jesus? Is he a messenger, a prophet,
No,
or is he actually a God?
He is God, yeah. He is the Son of God, and I don't believe he's a prophet, what the Muslims say.
Yeah.
But I respect what they say. Right? I'm not going to argue with you over it. You've got your belief, and I've got my belief. But the main thing is, we are the believers of one God, right? And I saw that during the riots, there was a Roman Catholic church that had a statue of Mary outside. And everyone went, oh my God, look. And I said, oh, well, that's idolatry. Mary represents idolatry, right? I said, that's what they've done there because, as a Protestant, we've had this ongoing thing with Catholicism. But I've tried to bury the hatchet with my
Have you had a
Catholic
chance
friends.
to read the Quran at all?
No,
Would you like a copy?
I haven't even read the Bible yet.
Well, I'll give you. Start with that. Look, what's a good idea?
I've got a Quran.
You know what it
I've
is?
got a Quran. I've also got Mein Kampf.
It's always a good idea. Yeah.
I've also got the Bible.
I'll
I've got
probably
Snap.
leave
And
that till a bit later.
So I've got
probably-
my books,
I'll
right?
probably-
But to be honest with you, I'm also
Yeah.
a single parent with 4
So
children.
do you just collect books? You don't read anything?
No, not lately.
You're a bit like me. You're a
For
bit
10
like-
years,
you're a
I've
bit
been
like me.
For 10 years, I've been a single parent with 2 sets of
Okay,
twins, right?
okay.
These boys were in nappies when it all started. So,
Okay.
and I was mortgage free, and then my wife nicked about 70 grand off me. So I'm now paying my mortgage. So, I mean, life's been tough. So I'm working, but I'm also an activist. So I don't get much time to do all the things I'd love to read. I mean, my main thing is all my children are named after Anglo-Saxons. These 2 boys are named after the first 2 Englishmen,
Okay.
which are,
First 2 Englishmen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know who the first 2 Englishmen were.
well, he's Hengist, right?
Hengist.
And his middle name is Horsa.
Horsa.
Engston Horse, right?
Okay.
Right? And it's like Romulus and Remus.
Okay.
So we're not going to let the Romans get away with it, right? And basically, they came over after the collapse of Rome.
So you know what we believe? We believe that the thing that would unite all of humanity, without this interracial sort of issues that we're talking about, is actually Islam.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why we say that is because in Islam, what unites you or me is not race or culture. It's
So I'll tell you what's really uniting me. and you.
It's
So I'll tell you
religion.
what's really uniting me. What I said to you just now with the School of Frankfurt,
Yes.
that is a communist takeover of not just the West, right, of the world, right? And the religious people of the world have to come together to resist it. And not even just the religions of the one God. Maybe we have to look at the other religions as well.
Well, if you look
because
at-
we have to
but-
fight
well,
this. This
James,
is it.
if you
The
look at-
Zionists have gone to the Holy
I
Land
understand.
to destroy
But
religion.
here's the problem, James, you see. The problem here is that a lot of Christians
Christian Zionists.
are Zionists.
Yeah, we know this.
They've adopted Zionism. Unfortunately, at times, I would say,
Since
even,
October the 7th,
even
this has
superior,
been-
even
they are being
superior
challenged
to
like
their
they-
Bible.
Since October the 7th,
You know,
they are being challenged.
But
like
Islam
we've never
has
seen
stood
them.
strong.
Yeah, I know.
Islam has said no.
You are absolutely right. You have protected your families. We have allowed the LGBT agenda to break our families up. So for that, you get. I'll give you
But,
10 out of 10.
but also what
And
unites.
this is why they're killing so many.
Yeah.
They're pulling their hair out. The Palestinians are having so many children. And they think, how can we stop this? Because Theodore Herzl had a Greater Israel project. It wasn't just the Palestinians,
Yeah.
it'd be the Iraqis, and we've seen it, and the Syrians.
Syria, Jordan,
And, and this is the real from the river to the sea.
Yeah.
Is it the Euphrates?
Well, those are the two lines on the Israeli map.
And we saw the map that
River to the sea.
Netanyahu built out. How he's going to
Yeah.
redirect the Suez Canal. He's going to build a Belt and Road to challenge the Chinese Belt and Road through the Goliath, the gas field. What's it called?
The Caspian.
No, the
gas
gas
field.
field off of Gaza and
Mediterranean on the Med.
The Suez Canal.
No,
what's the gas field called, Angus?
There's a gas reserve.
Off of the Gaza coast. Anyway, so that he was going to use that to pump it towards Italy into Europe.
Your young man, all right?
Yeah, he's sitting there holding that. He's a bit tired, yeah. Have a sandwich, mate. You've got water in there. So, yeah, and that was going to go through across the Saudi Arabian deserts, who are the traitors. And he's got to come strong. When you've got countries like the Houthis, right, that are closing down the Red Sea, right? You've got Erdogan, who don't know which way he's going to go. But you've got the Iranians that are not even Sunni Muslims that are standing up, right? I mean, and who brokered the deal between Saudi Arabia and Iran?
Qatar.
Shiite and Sunni. Because for the
No,
first time,
it was,
Islam in the Middle East is united against Israel.
Well,
and China had a lot to do with
I
it.
would say that we have a major issue with not the people, because the people are united, but unfortunately the people are not the ones who are in control. But anyway, Imran, do you want to have just mentioned? So James,
My main message to you guys is that we have to come together to fight
I'm already with you,
the
James.
atheistic.
But James, this is the
The
issue.
atheistic.
The single piece of the whole humanity that are resisting these ideologies is the Muslims.
Yeah.
We are and the reason that is because we have access to our original teachings in the original language, and we can ground ourselves in our history and our religion very easily. One of the things that happened with a lot of the Europeans and the white working class is that they were separated out, they were secularized.
Yeah.
You were taken away, and then what happens is that the way to keep you...
Who done it though?
That's a good
communists.
question. Yeah.
It's
But
a communist.
A way to
yeah.
keep you away from the cause of the problem is to make you fight with this guy because he's the brown guy.
Yeah,
and he's
some
he's the
of us are
reason
not
you're-
biting. Most of
That's
us
right.
are at the moment. Everyone was ringing me up, going, Jamie, what do you think? What do you think? We're going to rise up. I said, no, it's the wrong thing to do. No one could believe I was saying it to them. They hung the phone up on me in disgust.
Well, they did that because they've been
They've been,
programmed.
through the TV.
They've been
Thank you very
programmed.
much.
They've been programmed to believe a certain thing. You see?
So it is an atheistic, secular, satanic ideology that infiltrated this country, and most of us didn't even know it was happening.
So the combat to that is
Religion, Christianity,
become Muslim.
Christianity, and we work together. Because in the Western world, right, we are Christians, right? In the Eastern world, the Middle
But
Eastern
you
world,
weren't always Christians.
no, of course we wasn't. You wasn't always Muslims,
Exactly. So it's not about what we are.
yeah, but look, we
Is it?
can either be arguing over this, or we
No,
can
we don't have
learn.
to argue.
We stand together,
Yeah, we
right, and
stand
respect
together.
each other's
There's
religion.
two motives there, Jamie. One motive is this challenging the atheism, challenging the secularism, all these things, and the rule and the control. The other motive here is we as Muslims want the best for you, not only here,
Yeah.
but in the next life as well.
Yeah.
So when we
So you evangelise.
Absolutely, we agree
Yeah,
with
I know,
you
I
that
get you. And this is
we
what
need
shocks
to come
people, but they
together.
don't understand. They've lost their religion. Then you wouldn't be able.
Yeah.
We saw what the Ottoman Empire done. The only people they converted were the Albanians, because they were, what do they call it in the Catholic world, in the Catholic Church? they were ostracised anyway. So they went, oh, they're not Christians anymore, we can convert the Albanians. But the Greeks, they didn't treat them very well, probably. They're not happy about it, the Greeks and the Bulgarians and the Romanians and all the other people in the Balkans, but they didn't forcibly
The
convert
whole
them.
gang is coming, yeah? You brought the whole gang, yeah?
Yeah, but we don't
know
discuss
what
with,
Islam does. It does respect.
loudmouth,
as long as and all you want to do,
manners.
you would much prefer to live in an England when you come here that we were like we was.
More
Back in the
religious.
50s, much more Christian, and then we could be on equal terms, but we're not. I mean, our people are fallen people.
See, I sympathise with your.
I'm not asking for your sympathy, by the way. I'm not a victim.
Yeah, you're not a
with your concerns.
Because you've realised that's why you're not a victim.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
victims are the ones who don't realise.
Yeah. Tommy Robinson's a victim when he says two-tier policing. I don't care. We've always had. I'm working class. We've always had two-tier policing, and I fight against it. How do I fight against it? By winning the court cases, by persuading the
At the
jury.
end of the day, everyone is seeking peace, some type of peace, some type of tranquility. And then there's a beautiful verse in the Quran that says, say to the people of the book, come to a word that's common between us and you, which is fundamental. It says that we serve none but God. We share that in common, and to ascertain the truth, and to work together.
Well, we have to work together. We have to work together against the evil, which is Zionism, which created communism.
And not to associate any partners with God, because when we associate partners with God, that's the worst of sin. So we have a lot in common.
Yeah, I know we do. I mean, this is the shock for me. I mean, this is, and listen, at the end of that,
See what it is, James.
I've come down here to meet Nick Cotton today.
When you say work together, I would say that I've been working with non-Muslims since I've been in this country. Because
you're a missionary.
No, but I'm saying I don't see myself as the other.
Yeah.
This is my community. I was born here.
I'm going to say
I was
that
brought
you
up
guys
here.
are much
I was
more enlightened.
I was educated here.
The British
why am I going to
working
look at? Why am I
class
going to look
are-
at the Englishman as a foreigner or as out? I'm the one who. My father came here. I'm born here. This is my country. You know, I grew up with Only Fools and Horses and the Dick Emery show. I wasn't watching Hindi comedians.
You're not
and stuff.
saying I look
That's
like
what-
Dick Emery, are you?
No.
Because I do.
Well, he was a small guy, Dick Emery, wasn't he? He wasn't a very big guy, was he?
Listen, I
But-
want to listen.
Yeah.
We're going to end this on a good note.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to end it. Shake hands, right?
I left Benny Hill out because it's not very Christian and it's not very Islamic.
Oh, I
so.
thought he's hilarious.
I know, but just
he's probably secular.
Jace, it's very lovely to meet
Too
you.
much. Because pornography.
You got two lovely
Yeah, all right,
sons.
thank you, boys.
You know,
Get that flag off
they're
the
very,
ground.
very
Come
tolerant.
stand up.
Very
Who
accepting.
are you filming for?
I'm filming with
With
these
his
guys.
family.
Oh, are you?
Nice
Right,
to meet you,
okay,
mate.
thanks a lot.
So our channel is called EFDawah.
All right, well, I'll be on Patriotic Twins UK. This will be
Okay.
going on Rumble Obituary.
Okay,
I don't
lovely.
go on platforms that don't give free speech.
That's all right. That's
Right?
okay.
I mean, I got kicked off YouTube when I was a Trump supporter.
Okay.
Right, because they cheated Trump. But Trump is a traitor because under the Constitution, he swore under the Christian Constitution to protect the Constitution.
Yeah, but these people aren't really Christian anyway, are
Well,
they?
no, but he still swore on the Bible
Yeah.
to protect the Constitution from enemies at home and enemies abroad.
They probably
and the
swear-
enemies at home were
Yeah,
communists,
yeah,
right?
but
they cheated the election, and he said, go there on January the 6th. Don't bring your guns. Yes, they should have, because they charged them as if it was an insurrection. They might as well have took their guns, and
But it would
basically
have been a
Trump
bloodbath.
should never.
It would have
It
been a
doesn't matter. I don't think
you
have to. They had a chance. It's
Hey,
too late now for
You're
America.
going to get us banned now as well.
Well, it was under the
we'll
Constitution.
have to edit that bit out.
He was the official president.
These
He was.
views do not reflect EFDawah's
No,
views
under
in any way.
the Constitution, the president has the right to defend America from enemies at home, and it was cheated. The election was cheated. It was the cheat.
James, pleasure.
Right, nice talking to you guys. Thanks
James,
a lot.
tell me something. What do you use for energy? Because you've got a lot of energy going
I'm
on.
63 years of age, right? I've been eating organic food for 35 years, and we make our own bread. So we
Okay.
don't eat none of the, no sugar. It's organic honey that goes in our bed, real butter, right? And all my kids, they're all grown. I mean, he's 13 years of age. He's virtually as tall as me, right? But,
Brilliant.
He's a bit of the runt of the lot.
James,
I've
nice.
got 2 sets of twins. And
it was a pleasure to meet you.
All right.
See you later.
Take it easy. Right? Thanks a lot. And you, thanks a lot, mate.